right, good morning everyone. My name is Corey. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. As the disclaimer goes, I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and do not invest in anything you are not willing to hodl for a very long time. As you can see here, the chart says we're at about 17.2 for XRP. We took a little bit of a dip last night, but we have certainly recovered from that small dip and we are pushing back into our normal range. Hopefully we're going to touch back into our descending triangle and move out of it in an explosion to the upside. But nothing can tell. I'm not a technical advisor or a technical analyst. There are plenty of them out there, and I could suggest a couple really good ones. I would suggest looking out for Blockchain Backer if you really want some great technical analysis on the crypto subject. Moving on, we've got some news from Santander and Ripple starting an app. The app has been in talk for a little while, but the news is coming out again today. The app is One Pay FX. It's going to be run on the XRP blockchain system. Their RippleNet technology. It's independent from XRP and does not need the digital currency to function. However, it can use the digital currency to function, and it would make it far faster to use. One of the things it says here, major Spanish bank Santander plans to roll out its Ripple-powered international payment system, One Pay FX, in Mexico in 2020. The blockchain system's benefits, Santander claims, is transparency, predictability, competitive cost, and better speed, ostensibly countering current customer experiences, which is described as suboptimal and prone to client stickiness. So what they're trying to do is just improve the system for their clients using RippleNet, which is a step in the right direction. Okay, this is Mnuchin talking, and he's going to be saying that pretty much any fintech company, any fintech leader can also support the pandemic situation by providing money or liquidity, and I just thought it would be good for you all to hear that. So here we go.
Fintech lender will be authorized to make normal SBA lenders, any FDIC bank, any credit union, any fintech lender will be authorized to make these loans subject.
All right, any fintech lender will be authorized to make those loans. So we do know a bunch of different fintech companies that are offering collateralized loans, such as like Binance and Bitrue and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of a regulation that comes out to allow these companies to start using that on the mass of people, bringing some more people into the system with legality, that is. All right, so according to a Google Trends last year, the number of United States users that searched for the term on how to buy Ripple has a lot more than the number of people that were asking how to buy Bitcoin. All I wanted to do is show you that. I just wanted you to see that Ripple is taking an advancement. It is moving up in the world of crypto, and people are starting to look at it, seeing that it is a more viable option, and it's faster and more energy and cost efficient than Bitcoin is. Some exciting news today. This is the Zoom app day release. So about, 30 minutes prior to making this video, We'd Say Wind and his fellow group of developers came out and announced that the Zoom banking and financial app that deals with cryptocurrency is now available. You can get, exchange, and receive crypto, I believe, by direct deposit from being paid through this app. So it is on a beta test right now. It is in the App Store, so don't use it for exclusively for like your daily life yet. It is out for testing, so it'd be cool if everybody could go out there, put a couple bucks through the app, test it, see if there are any bugs. The faster we can get this working, I'm sure the faster we can start seeing crypto regulations. All right, so China, the People's Bank of China reduced the interest rate on a 7-day reverse repurchase agreements to 2.2 from 2.4 when it injected 50 billion yuan, $7.1 billion into the banking system. I just put this article up here to show you that the entire world is still trying to recover from this current situation. I saw that there is news about a recovery happening in Easter, and that we are going to be out of the woods and moving on, but we're steadily approaching, and it seems like countries are still trying to get things back to an even level where they can start taking control of the financial situation that we're in. All right, exclusive. Justice Department reviews stock trades by lawmakers after the briefings of this pandemic. So this is an article about how exactly what it says. They're looking into transactions that were made by major law officials in selling stocks prior to this pandemic and how closely related those sales were to the situation. So did they know about the situation, and how close to the market fallout did they sell in order to prove? That was my alarm going off saying I should be at work right now, or at least getting ready for it. So they're trying to prove whether or not these guys knew about the crisis that was looming, and if they got insider information and were able to sell ahead of time, which I expect is the case, because that happens to plenty of people. I saw that there was a couple articles about some insider stock trading for some hedge fund owners that are also in the works. All right, this is just a image showing you the difference in effect that each one of these cryptocurrencies pretty much has on our environment. I'm trying to look for the right words here, but one of the things that we all know about is this like global warming, carbon emissions thing that the government is trying to push in order to put more taxes on the negative things that are introduced to our environment. The XRP network each year uses the equivalent of about 10,661 trees, while as the equivalent energy it takes for Bitcoin to run is 1,628,636,364 trees. So if the grand government of the world, IMF, is trying to push this global climate change, be nice to the earth movement, then you would think simply by looking at this, they would go, well, why are we going to use Bitcoin? It's slow, it's clunky, it's old, and it's killing the environment. We should use XRP because it's fast, it's new, and it works well. It has no downtime and no errors, and it only takes 1/110th of the actual energy that Bitcoin uses. All right, this is at Assets Daily, Digital Assets Daily. A quote from Donald Trump: "Bill provides for these checks to be delivered through the existing state's UE system. Many of the states have very old, antiquated computer systems that are 45 years old, and they're not prepared to handle this kind of distribution so quickly." That's exactly what it is. All of the states run on a very old system. Our system for banking is about 45 years old. It's called SWIFT. And we needed to update it. So what is this update going to be? The world may never know, but I'm pulling for XRP. I want to take one quick look at the Dow Jones this morning. It looks like we are slightly to the downside. I don't know what kind of news they're trying to push. It looks like they are trying to continue to get people to separate from themselves due to this pandemic. I've seen a couple other things. One of the things is that Harvard researchers propose intermittent lockdowns and widespread surveillance of Americans to avoid critical care capacity. There are a lot of different things that are going on in the background as far as this pandemic is concerned, especially with the freedoms and rights of the people of the United States. This is something that we need to be paying attention to closely, especially if one of the scenarios for a 20-week interval lockdown is if there are 37.5 cases of the disease per 10,000 adult people in the population. So if you think that there are more than 37.5 cases in an area that exceeds 10,000 people, for instance, I'm in Connecticut, there are like 275,000 people in a small district here. It looks like there may be more significant lockdowns ahead of us. The last thing that I want to show you, and I'm going to just put this in here so you guys can like watch the chart while I read this. It is not on the internet. It is a friend of mine sent me this, and I thought it was great as an explanation, and I'd love all of you to hear it. And as soon as we get done, I'm going to turn the video off. So imagine if 10 years ago you were approached by a time traveler and he was like, "Look, I don't have much time to explain. All I can tell you is that the year 2020 is going to be an absolute circus. You know Donald Trump, the star of The Apprentice? Well, he's the president of the United States, and at the beginning of 2020, he gets into a Twitter beef with Iran, and that almost starts World War III. Australia catches on fire and a woman tries to save it by selling pictures of her boobs. Kobe Bryant passes away in a helicopter crash. Half of the world is devastated, the other half just makes messed up memes. A little time passes, and just when the world starts recovering from the loss of Kobe, some dude in China eats a raw bat and starts a global pandemic that specifically kills mamas and papas. Everyone loses their minds. 40% of the population thinks it's the end of the world, another 40% thinks it's all fake, and 20% blames the whole thing on cell phone towers and Tom Hanks' kids. The one thing everyone seems to agree on is that the only way to survive this is by hoarding toilet paper. Grocery stores are ransacked, and Charmin Ultra Soft essentially replaces the dollar as the United States official currency. Eventually, as hysteria grows, world governments are forced to shut down the entire planet and lock everyone in their houses, and the only person that can keep them from completely flipping out and starting a huge riot is a gun-toting, mullet-sporting, homosexual Oklahoma man with a meth addiction and 180 pet tigers. Gotta love it. Enjoy the rest of your day.